Sue, how you going? Hi everyone, thanks for coming tonight to my exhibition Aftermath. Before we get started, I need to do something really special. Of course me, I need to pour a wine. Tonight I'm drinking Bellwether Risotto.
My one's on.
One of my favourites that Sue makes. Cheers everybody. And I'm going to take you all on a tour of Aftermath. It's all about my Drought Series exhibition. I met Sue in 2018 with Maggie at the Beanie Festival in Alice Springs, and we had a beautiful day with me running a workshop there of handmade brushes and mark making. On the day, Sue mentioned that she had this beautiful winery in the Coonawarra. I was so excited, and she said that you should come down and join us and have your exhibition and do some workshops and things like that down there. So last year I made a trip over with my husband Mark, and we had just the best time. It was just awesome. And this year we were invited back as well, but with coronavirus, it put a stop to that. So I've had to make up a makeshift gallery in my own home. I cleaned out my dining room, and we have put up the works ready for you all to see. Some works had to get left out because they were quite large insulation works that had to hang from a ceiling that would be at least 15 feet high. So we left those out, but later I'm happy to show them as well. They're on big scrolls of paper, lots of mark making and things like that. So we're going to start off with primarily that I'm a weaver as well, and also I like to do my brush making. The reason I do the brush making, which I learnt from a beautiful friend, Lorna Crane, about 6 years ago now, I hope I've got that right, Lorna, is so that my work had this uniqueness to it where it has like a signature to each artwork that's sort of sung to me and sung to the environment, and so it talks its own language through whatever I'm trying to explain at the time. And for the last 18 months it's all been about the drought. The drought's had such a huge impact on communities, my family, my friends, all those, it's just extended so far and affected so many people. And then of course we had the fires in the December-January period as well, which was just devastating to everyone all over again. We're still not out of the drought. Everybody thinks just because it's rained, it's all over. Well, it's far from the truth, as like wine growers know, crop people know, farmers in general with cattle. It's just an ongoing thing, and hopefully we see some turnaround in the next 12 months where we can actually celebrate and say, here we are, we're not in drought, we can all carry on and hopefully be out of sad times. So these works really resonated with me after I did them. I was sort of thinking, what would it be to anybody else? Would they actually see what I'm trying to say in my work? And so far the response has been very positive, which is fantastic. I'm really loving that people are loving my work at the present moment. I do work from a very basic colour palette, believe it or not. I use only 4 colours in all my works. I mix all my own colours up. I don't just buy each colour that you see in the work. I actually have to make them, and that can take me at least 3 weeks to 4 weeks of just making up colour charts for a specific artwork that I'm actually thinking about doing at the time. And I'm happy to share with you if anyone's interested on the colours that I actually use. But before we start, I just wanted to take you around the circle of how the works first started. And we're going to start with the Hope series, of which are woven objects. So we're just going to walk over here, Kaylin. My daughter's filming for me tonight, beautiful Kaylin. So these are the Hopes of Dreams that I wanted to weave, and these were sort of inspired by the colours. When I went down to the Royal Railway Station in the Coonawarra, all that beautiful, all the textures, all the colours of the tin, the distance of the paddocks and afar had just, I don't know, this beautiful yellow, the terra rosa soils. It was just awesome. It was just the colours were just so inspiring, and so that's how these works all came about. And yeah, I actually really love them. I love them on a wall. I wanted to do something different rather than just do baskets all the time. I've been inspired by the Aboriginal works that you see as well, with the ones that, you know, the really big ones that go on walls. I've always wanted to buy one of those, and one day I will have one, much to my husband's disgust, but anyway. Yeah, because they're not cheap. But one day I will go up to Arnhem Land and I will get one. So yeah, so they're hopes and dreams on the walls, and yeah, I really love those. This one is Parched, and this one was based on when we were crossing over after coming back from South Australia, through the Murray and then through onto the Hay Plain. It was just getting so dry as we went along, and so much, I guess you would call it sadness in a way for me. Lots and lots of dead cattle in the paddocks, lots of sheep, especially in hay, dead on the side of the roads, and that obviously just starved to death with the lack of food and everything. So that's quite, yeah, it's quite a moody painting. I don't know, you have to, when I'm in my own little space and my own little time, my own little world, I just create these moody kind of works, I guess you would call them. And yeah, so there's a lot of movement in it. Not so much texture in this one. It was just a build up of the colours that I saw at the time crossing the Hay Plain. So a little bit different to what you'd see now, which would be a little bit of green, because they did have a little bit of rain, and like I said though, they still need lots more rain there. This one here, obviously, like, I guess everybody over the last 12 months, every day you'd wake up and pray for rain, and whether you did it subconsciously or you did it purposefully, it was always in the back of your mind that you just wished it would rain and the whole bloody drought would break and everybody would be happy and singing that rain dance again. And yeah, so this one I really like. Kaylin, my daughter, loves it and doesn't really want me to give it away. But yeah, all works are up for sale. This one's got a lot more texture through it. I did put some of the Terra Rosa soils through this one as well that I collected, don't tell anybody, crossed the border with that, yeah, but anyway. And I had to grind all my own pigments up sometimes and in a pestle and mortar, and then I put them under what we call a puddle, and it's a glass plate with a glass stone, and you grind the soil, and then you have to turn it into a secret recipe, turning into a paint, but I like to use it as an ink consistency, so it has to be super fine. It takes a lot of hard work to get it to that consistency. And to make it archivable as well is another challenge, because you don't want things going yuck on a canvas, or even eating the canvas could be a total disaster. So yeah, but that has got some Terra Rosa in that one. This one, the Big Red, this was probably a little bit before this one. This one was inspired, so just before I went to the Coonawarra, I'd gone home to Alice Springs for my mum who got married. Hi Mum, if you're watching. Flying over Alice, I don't think I've ever seen it so dry. It was kind of devastating to see it that dry. And then you know that you've got friends and family and people up there that have got big cattle stations in the NT. You hear these stories of how much cattle they've had to shoot during a day because they simply just cannot afford to feed them anymore, or they're just not profitable. They're too skinny to sell to market, so there's no choice for them. So yeah, so the red one is kind of, I don't know, it's a moody one. It's takes a life of its own, I guess, in some ways, but it's more yeah, it's just the Big Red for me. Like, I'm an Alice girl, as most of you know. I do love the territory colours. I kind of like stayed away from all the yellow ochres and things like that in this one for a change. I do sometimes like to use those colours, but yeah, I kept this one quite red and more in the pinky zones. Yeah, so that's the Big Red. Now this one here, this one is up for auction. So this is the one that's been up for the last couple of days that I've been posting about. And again, crossing over from South Australia, from the Coonawarra over to Adelaide, we went past all these beautiful, where I've been before, where there usually are pink salt lakes, and they were literally all dry, pretty much all dried up. There was no water, no reflection, no nothing. But I still managed to capture the clay pan, like they were like cracked clay pan kind of looking images, and but with that beautiful, really beautiful pinky tones all through them. And I guess for me it was then hit home how bad and how dire everything was, how the waterways were not coping, how we're going to, I guess for me to reflect on how we as everybody and help the, you know, I don't know, get the government to bloody understand about this drought and how we can improve it and make it end. And yeah, I don't know, it's just, yeah, one of those times where you just wish that everything would be better, I guess. So we're going to move back over to here now. Carla's going to follow me. So these are the oversized brushes. I actually made these ones last year. These ones were made, and a couple of them hung in the wool shed at Bellwether last year, and I had to make up some more when I come back. Lorna taught me how to do the brush making, and I guess I haven't used these ones, I'm not going to tell lies there, but I haven't used these in actually my artworks, but I do use all my other brushes, all my normal size brushes. I'll just go through some quickly. So usually if I'm using any brushes in my artwork, hang on, I need to have a sip of wine, I'm getting really dry. Feels good now. Much better. The smudgy brushes. So I get all my, inside here is sheep's wool, and I get it from a station just down the outskirts of Canberra. And the smudgy brushes work really well, beautiful with ink, and they absorb really well, they rinse really well. This one clearly hasn't been used, I use this for demo only. But in the workshops I get everybody to make a few of the smudgy brushes. They make beautiful, beautiful line work, and I like how I guess they can make their own patterns and everything. You never know what you're going to get out of it, so the marks will become like my signature, I guess, and my own language into my own works. So I have lots of different ones that I use. So that's another one. I collect driftwood. I love collecting driftwood for the handles. I have a secret stash down at a friend's place, Glenys, if you're watching. Down at Jindabyne, I wait for Glenys to tell me that you can't say the tide because it's a lake, but sometimes the bad weather comes in and pushes all the beautiful woods up into the shoreline, and so then there becomes this mounds and mounds of what's beautiful driftwood to be able to collect, and I manage to get like loads when I'm down there. Emu feathers are beautiful for really fine line works as well. Beautiful with ink, incredible with ink. But then I will go and collect any of the native grasses, anything like that. Come up, obviously you can see that I've used this one. So any of the native grasses work well. Cordyline that are in your garden, just strip them down, dry them out for a couple of days if you want. I don't, I just use them fresh and let them dry on their own. This one is corn husks. Again, I've used it a lot. And I think if Lorna's watching, I'm not sure if she is or not, she might watch later. This is one of the first brushes I ever made with Lorna, and it was 6 years old, so, and it's still going strong. Beautiful line works. You never know what you're going to get out of that one, just depends how much ink you load onto it. Then we're going to come over to some of the little baskets. I love to use recycled materials in the baskets. Some of the colours don't really, they're not colours that I would normally use, is probably what I'm trying to say. I will just pick randomly at the time and place. And these were ones, we have this beautiful recycle place in Canberra the green shed, and often I would go there and find wools and cottons and fabrics and all sorts of things, and yeah, and then turn them into wee little baskets, as they say, or vessels or whatever. I have, over the last few months, I've sort of went on a bit of a weaving frenzy and given lots away as gifts and things. So yeah, it's different. My daughter weaves with me, and so does my sister Karen. She's here tonight. We have what we call wet wine and weave nights on a Friday night, which are heaps of fun. We have run workshops. I've done workshops down at Jindabyne. I've done one with the ladies down there. I've done Tulip Top Gardens over in Canberra and a few other places. So some of those ones, this one here, that one's got the grapevine through it. So that was pretty tricky to use actually, because it needed to be a lot softer, but it's there was another one too, it was a lot taller, but I've actually given that one away to her friend who likes to drink wine. This one's got a real special story to it. So my grandfather passed away last year, and this one has been woven with his garden twine and his shirt. And yeah, so look, very sentimental little baskets. Yeah, I have been asked to do one for a friend whose mum passed away. I told her that she had to learn to weave herself, but she's like, no. So she's giving me one of her mum's favourite scarves, and I'll weave her scarf into a basket. We'll come over to the big dry painting. So this one here is probably, I get my favourites, and I guess this one for me is my favourite. It has had a turn on a few of my walls in the house, and I don't know why, because it's not usually the colours I would go for. So I don't know, it's nothing to do with the colour. I think it's just the marks maybe, and the story that it tells of the big dry. And hopefully one day we'll see light at the end of the tunnel, this goddamn drought, and yeah. All good. And then over here is Aftermath. So Aftermath is a 4-panel work. These are on wood panels, they're not on canvas. These paintings came after the fires in January, and went for a drive up near the National Park in Canberra, and pretty much there's nothing left other than ash, and the colour, you know, like most people see ash in grey, just greys and blacks and maybe bluey sort of tones. I didn't see any of that. I saw a lot of yellows, and I saw obviously the warmth from the fire in it. So lots of whites, lots of yellows, yeah, and just the creamy kind of textures, and a bit of the black shining through as well. So I didn't want to paint a painting about the fires. This was more about what the drought had done to cause the fire in the first place, and obviously with all the undergrowth that had been in that national park for a very, very long time, since the last big bushfires, and the heat was so intense, it just literally, you know, went through so incredibly fast that night, and there was nothing left, absolutely nothing left, just ash. So no trees standing, unfortunately. So yeah, often you'll see the marks where some marks I'll show cattle grids in my works as well, where I've had to cross a cattle grid, fence linings, anything like that in my work, where I will try where houses or huts or things may have stood. So that's Aftermath of the fire. So I don't know if you can hear in the background, I've got some music playing. It's actually Kelly playing Sue. I got it on Spotify, yay. And yeah, I did send Kelly a message too. Yeah, I love Kelly, love her to bits, and she's an amazing artist, and I guess for Sue to support the arts is incredible. everybody's doing it really tough, and I think, you know, who knows what we're going to see in the next 6 months. So we just think that, I guess we're going to see everybody, you know, that everybody's starting to get together again now with, you know, 10 people or whatever it may be, but I think we've got a long way to go still. I'm really hoping within the next 6 months we see a huge improvement. I feel sorry for the cafes and the restaurants and the bars, probably the most. We've got family, we've got friends that are in the business, and yeah, we're all doing it really tough. The arts, well, I don't know what to say about the arts other than, you know, just support us. We've still got a living to make. We still have jobs on the outside, thank God. Yeah, but it's, at the end of the day, it's our happy place in the art, and yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you to you all. Thanks for coming tonight. If you want to see any of the works, I'll be uploading them first thing tomorrow morning onto Sue's webpage, I think, yes, webpage. And thank you, Kate. Kate will be handling all of that. I'll be doing some photos of the baskets. Baskets will be for sale as well, except for my granddad's. Yeah, but all the other baskets, I do take commissions as well. So if anybody's after a commission work, I can do commissions, which I've done in the past. And yeah, and workshops, if you ever want a workshop, wherever you may be, happy to come. Yeah, so thanks. Thank you for coming. Cheers to Sue. Cheers to her beautiful wine. I actually drank the Shiraz last night, Sue. Beautiful. My sister's drinking. Are you drinking Shiraz, Kazza?
Yeah, Shiraz.
Yeah, she's got the Shiraz now. Good on her. We'll kick into something else shortly. Finish dinner. Yeah, so cheers to everybody. Let's all hope we can, yeah, all get through this all together and support each other and love each other. And yeah, cheers. Talk to you all soon. Bye.